tree, be sure that you get it at ground level, whatever the ground is you're planting it on. You don't want to go too deep and you don't want it too high. You also want to make sure you keep the root flare at the base of the tree open. So when you mulch the tree, make it a mulch ring. Don't pile it up against the tree. When you dig the hole, dig it about twice the size of the root ball that the container comes in. And once you put the soil around the tree, pack it down with your feet real well. You'll water it after all of that. You want to make sure it's straight. So walk around the tree, it's not leaning in any particular direction. You also want to think in advance of how high will this tree grow, 30, 40, 50 feet. Make sure that whatever's above it has room for that tree to grow.
So we had a farm for a number of years, and we sold our farm, but we kept the name, and we are educating people on how they can grow their own food or buy local, which is important to support our local farmers. So one thing that we do have is, and you can pick this up, or we might post it with St. Peter's, is there's ways that you can look online to find farms and farmers markets in the area by scanning this card, and then you can find it on your computer or your phone to find where you can buy local. We also do just different workshops to show people how to grow, even if you're in a condo or you don't have a lot of space. You can grow food right in your own home patio, deck, really easily. And teaching kids too, it's just a beautiful way to show kids how to grow their own food, why it's important. There's just a lot of great literature out there, little books that kids can get excited about growing food. If they get excited, mom and dads, you have to follow suit.
Well, we raised our kids on a farm up in Huntersville called Rivendell Farms in the Carolinas. It was actually helped to set aside land with the Guard Creek Conservancy that protects our water resource. And we lived there for almost 20 years, and we're 70% carbon neutral, 70% reuse and recycle, and 70% local food, raise your own food is really teaching. Some very respected in the Catholic community, had lots of folks out there for lessons, for catechism and other stuff. We sold the farm in 2018 and moved to Belmont. We actually do some part-time farming with the Belmont Abbey monks. So we're talking about a 70-70-70 pledge where people can really, not that hard, be able to embrace 70% carbon neutral, 70% reduce and recycle, 70% local food, and that's what we're talking about today. The last thing I do, I'm a national leader cleaning up coal ash. And a lot of people don't know where all their waste byproduct goes from using the electricity. It goes into places like what you see in this picture here, and it will be the largest environmental cleanup in the history of the United States, if not the world. 1.1 billion tons of coal ash, and we have to work out over the next 5 to 15 years. People don't realize how big this legacy liability is that we all have to deal with. Let's find a better way.
Which of these apples is from an orchard and which one was bought in a grocery store?
You're asking me?
Yeah, which one?
I'd say that's the orchard and that's the...
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because they wouldn't sell this in most grocery stores, and yet it's a perfectly good apple. So unless you turn it into applesauce or into apple juice, it's going to be compost, it's going to be thrown out. And unfortunately, 40% of the food in the United States gets thrown out, which is incredible.
It is incredible. It's actually overwhelming.
And what they do with some of them, you can see that, this isn't the natural skin, that basically they put food grade wax over it, and some they actually dye to make the whole thing look red.
You're supposed to rinse them.
Yeah.
Rinse them. But never any meat products, right?
That's right.
Yeah. And then
meat and oils, fats, those are the things that are going to get rats and, all kinds of raccoons and stuff like that. That's why you stay away from that.
So they don't go after any of this?
That's right.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Very little.
Yeah.
So it's mostly the bacteria that breaks it down. But the other thing they don't tell you is, so much of the food stuff, because it gets thrown into landfills, the what breaks it down is not regular bacteria, but it's anaerobic, so non-oxygen, and they produce methane.
Yeah.
While the other stuff, because they do the oxygen and all the rest, they don't produce a lot of greenhouse gases.
Yeah.
While the landfill stuff does, and so
Which is, yeah.
that's why
should
the compost
Yeah.
and all the rest is so much better for the because apparently 8% of the greenhouse gases come out of food. Really, 8%. You can imagine how many cars that is.
Yeah, right. Absolutely.
Jackie, what kind of house do you live in?
I live in a single family detached house.
Okay, so you're not like a townhouse. You're not attached to anybody else.
No.
Okay. So if you look here on this chart, you can see how your energy use breaks down in your house roughly on average.
Okay.
And this is for the South Atlantic region. So these are the states on the Atlantic coast between Maryland and Florida.
Okay, so I see it's mostly space heating.
Yes, that's it says space heating. It's not like space heating. We're talking like a furnace,
Sure,
right?
sure.
So, and this includes like if you have this is total energy use, so not just electricity. This is gas. If you have a gas furnace,
Okay.
right? So heating, also cooling. Those are the big tools. So heating and cooling your house. That's the big energy user. So a great way. Here's some ideas about how you can reduce energy use for free. So things like opening your windows when it's cooler outside, cooking outside rather than cooking indoors, using the bathroom fans to vent out that hot, moist air instead of cooling it with your air conditioner. You can also seal any areas where there's air leaks, right? So any place there's a hole in the side of your house, there's a penetration in the side of your house for a pipe going out. So your water pipes have to come in and out of the house. Your electricity lines have to come in and out of the house. Make sure those are sealed around because that air can move in and out. And you want the cool air or the warm air, whatever it is, to stay inside your house. This is foam weather seal, and you tape it around where your windows open and shut, so that there's a better air seal here. This is for insulating around the hot water pipe. So you open the thing up and you put your pipe inside and you just slide it over the top of the pipe to insulate it. Keep the hot water in the pipe so you don't have to air condition hot pipes. And this is for insulating gaps, right? So if you have a gap, you spray this stuff in, then it foams up and it solidifies and keeps the air from passing through. And these are some energy efficient bulbs. This is CFL, but more preferred is LED because they're more energy efficient and they last longer.
Thank you. Lots of opportunities.